let's show the slide. And I really wanted to kind of get people to understand digitalization, because everyone has a different opinion of what it is and what it means. And really, if you look at these procurement organizations now and you look at supply chain, it really is, when they're looking at that definition of digital supply chain, they're really talking about an integrated sequence of events and in planning and product solutions. Going back to it, so if you think about it, there are a lot of things that these organizations are doing, and it's really around their supplier ecosystem, which Carlos and I touched on prior, and really what's making them becoming more digitalized is the analytics. And they're really looking at using that technology, making sure that it fits to what they're doing. And if you look at it, what companies are doing is they're using the technology to really make their decisions. And it's really around basis of tracking, cloud-based tracking, processing, customer service portals, those type of things that are going on. The other things we are doing around that we're seeing is, as we talked about, is the customer supplier ecosystem. I do believe customers are really trying to consolidate their vendors and really focusing on larger spends. There are a few vendors, and then they're really trying to lower their costs and deploying an enhanced suite of supply chain solutions. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the customers that I'm seeing. And then Carlos, actually, I'd like you to jump in too, since Naresh isn't here.
Well, so what I was going to say, Joe.
If you look at it, hold on, Carlos. So if you look at, we have a couple clients now that we're actually dealing with their procurement organizations. In the past, it's always been a lot of the IT and procurement was kind of on the side. But now what we're seeing is the procurement organizations are playing a large part in supply chain. Carlos, let me ask you a question. So in your clients and what you're seeing, what is the supply chain doing for this ecosystem?
So what's happening is, because of the extreme demand in a lot of the different goods and the economy being opening up again, the digital supply chain has taken an acceleration that most of the organizations cannot do it themselves. So they are bringing a lot of different partners, they are consolidating partners, and others has gone away. But that digital supply chain now is moving to a multimodal kind of element, because companies, for example, like BNSF and different CPG companies and others are really accelerating their elements into the overall digital supply chain, and with a lot more focus now into the customer experience. So they're bringing, a lot of companies are bringing different technologies. So they're bringing specialized partners, bringing very specific elements of the solution. But as Joe said that before, all under the anchor of a larger partner that it is managing and taking accountability for the outcomes of that element of the digital supply chain. So, but everything is just now more focused in the customer experience. So that the shift here is the high demand from talent and technologies that can be integrated easily into all the different multimodal elements of the supply chain is what is becoming critical. So that's why, some of the vendors have been able to make, pretty good acquisitions and make some adjustments and penetrate deeper into their customers, as now they are being accountable and getting paid based on the client revenues.
So the other, one of the things that's going on here too is the customers are definitely turning to automation, because as we said, and everyone is experiencing a talent, a desert in what's going on in the world today around these deals. So what's happening is the customers are turning to automation. And when you turn to automation like this, it goes from start to finish. So it includes everything in that, versus where in the past they relied on paper and pencil, Excel spreadsheets, and what's happening, and to build that supply chain. But today It's all automation. It's all software. It's all, okay, how do I get moving through things through the system faster?
Right.
It's about speed. It's about and it's about reliability. So,
Right.
and that speed and that reliability is coming through automation.
Now, another element that is critical to talk about here is data analytics. Lots of these
Yes.
organizations have built significant teams of data scientists that are just driving, trying to figure out what's going on with that data. Interestingly, what they are finding out is that the data is everywhere. And even if they bring a set of data scientists, sometimes just having that good talent in-house doesn't cut it, because they still need to be driven by a data strategy component that they have to develop. So they are trying to develop their data strategy to be able to work better the data analytics, because it drives how their business, especially in the digital supply chain, is going to work. And some vendors are doing a very good job in bringing now different platforms and with lots of AI, lots of machine learning that can basically begin to turn and do all of those analytics and work together with the data scientists to be able to figure out what to do with that data. We're seeing that a lot in airlines and rail and sea transport, most of the elements, and then in the last minute delivery, because
Right.
there is no way that the companies can optimize the customer experience if they do not have the right data. They cannot do predictive analytics.
Yes, and speaking of in the manufacturing world, what we're seeing around Alex, if you remember, those of us that have been around manufacturing for many years, you would get reports every day on what happened with your manufacturing line the day before and what's happening. But if you look at the analytics that are generated today, so it was all in the past. So you couldn't really do anything with it because it's already happened. But if you're looking at analytics today and reports that plant managers and line managers are getting today, what they are is not only are they telling them what happened yesterday, but they're giving them with solutions and analytics on how to avoid it today and how to avoid it tomorrow. So back to the tracking and processing and the analytics and the AI portions of this, the document and the things that are coming out of these systems today are making them look forward and to what's happening and to kind of ease and make that supply chain much more efficient for the future and the collaboration with different pieces of the manufacturing line. So it's actually very, very interesting on what's happening in that space, especially around manufacturing and the analytics pieces of it. Carlos, so let's talk about, my favorite subject is consolidation of vendors. So when your clients and that supply chain and what they're doing there, what are your clients doing? Are they doing anything around that consolidation, as I see in some of my retail guys?
Yes, they are consolidating, but they are consolidating driven by what they are trying to do internally with the organization as part of the journey to digital supply chain transformation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing is, they started this initiative. They started kind of going into this journey a few years ago without a strategy and without really knowing what to do or how to leverage their partners. So they brought in a lot of different mom and pops, a lot of different very, very small different suppliers, that some of them, small vendors that had very, very small things, right? So the thing was, as the technologies and as the vendors have made some acquisitions, have they been able to incorporate their digital solutions into their offerings, they are able now to bring those capabilities to the clients and then offering those solutions. So clients are consolidating because now they don't have 10, 15 different small vendors to be able to kind of drive to these different elements of the supply chain. One is more expensive. Two, they don't have the capability to manage all of those things. They haven't even defined their KPIs and how they're going to do it. And some of the vendors are coming in basically basically offering different business model, different level of partnership, saying, look, I can help you drive this digital supply chain transformation. I will take you to the journey, but I will be part of your business. That is what
Right.
outsourcing transformation is all about. That is what the consolidation is taking place, because guess what? Clients wants to simplify. So that's what we're seeing, all these different acquisitions. So that simplification enables them to drive to the different steps of the digital supply chain and partner with others in a way that makes it easier for the business to do it, all with that level of partnership where there is an investment and payment based on revenues.
And what it means is the supplier community has to go outside of the IT organization.
This is not even driven.
This has nothing to do with IT. It's all around, it's kind of interesting. Procurement organizations have changed their name. They're not procurement anymore. They're indirect sourcing or enterprise sourcing. So it's kind of interesting on what's happening here.